Yo guys, and welcome to another Dark Rain video. This time I'm going to be showing you our Celestial DPS guide. Now this is going to include the loadout and the guide to the trees. So the first one I'm going to show you, of course, is the iconic powers tree. With this tree, guys, there are always two powers that you absolutely need 100% of the time. They are Weapons Expert and Tactical Genius. Always ensure you get these powers. Next up is the Blessed tree. So from this tree, I have taken Smite, Admonish, Benediction, Retribution, Wrath of the Presence, and of course Anoint. Next up is the Big Bad Curse tree. From this tree I have taken Haunt, Cursed Idol, Wither, Consume Soul, and of course the mighty Dark Pact. So here's the loadout for you guys, and it's nice and simple. So on the bar, guys, I have Smite, Retribution, Anoint, Benediction, Dark Pact, and the mighty supercharged Cursed Idol. It is Beast. So here's the rotation, guys, and it's nice and simple. So this loadout, guys, is a triple buff loadout. So I simply scroll through all three of those buffs, and it does not matter what order you do it in. If you like to be fairly mobile in raids, you can always finish your buff with the power Benediction, because Benediction allows you to be mobile once you've cast it. That animation allows you to cut around, whereas Dark Pact and Anoint will pin you in place. Once those three bad boys are up, I simply start with Retribution into a cleansed Wither, followed by a Smite, followed by a cleansed Haunt. Now obviously when you are going through this rotation, and if you've got Supercharge, always have Cursed Idol down. Now this is the only thing on this loadout where another Celestial DPS, they can actually overwrite. They will only overwrite your Cursed Idol. Everything else you'll be fine to cast with. Now I'm fairly new to Celestial in a way, so you'll have to bear with me as I mess this rotation up quite a few times during its demonstration. But it is fairly simple enough, and once you've got the muscle memory down, you'll have no problems rotating through this. So basically what you do is, once you activate Retribution off your bar, you tap melee and then tap range at the appropriate time, and you'll go into the cleansed Wither. Now as soon as your toon begins to step forward, that's when you can clip that animation. So you just hit Smite off the bar, and as you throw Smite off, you're just about to lift your arm backwards. As they do that, hit Retribution again off your bar, and you literally just keep cycling through those things. Now, this particular loadout that I've given you today is a really decent ad killer, and it's most effective at medium to long range. Now, if I was in the thick of it a little bit, maybe melee range, I may change this loadout a little bit, maybe remove Smite, pop something else in that's a bit closer that hits harder, or maybe lays down a bit of a dot. But this is brilliant at range. You could always swap out Smite and put in something like Plague, but you'd have to play around with the power trees a little bit more. You may not be able to get all three buffs, Cursed Idol and your DPS iconic innates, if you run with Plague and all those other four powers. But it's worth experimenting with. Now I've heard a few people complain that Celestial is a little static, so when you're rotating through your combos you can't particularly move very well. But if you're skimming, or if you're fly in the air, and when you're doing these animations, if you press X whilst you're in the air, you will cancel them, and you will continue to be able to move and float around the battlefield as you see fit. When I get the chance, I'll record some of that footage of me DPSing a raid, floating around, and doing some Celestial combos at the same time. It's a bit tricky with the fingers, and occasionally you can mess up and your rotation will break a little bit. But because of the nature of new raids and the tank constantly moving people around, you may need to be mobile at some time or another. And this is where other superpowers have an advantage over you, because they can move around in between rotations, or if they're ice, for example, they can just move around constantly and just do nothing but rain death from their hands. So, to summarise, guys, this is a very good loadout, especially at medium to long range. Does fantastic damage. The reason I haven't got Plague on this loadout is I've been informed that it's currently bugged and a little broken on live servers, and instead of once you get through into your combos, instead of it doing additional AoE damage, it's currently not functioning as it's intended to. That's why it's not on this particular bar. But I will test it and I'll feed back to you at some point, guys. Thanks a lot for watching, everyone. We are Dark Rain, and as always, we'll see you in game.